Hey, balloon friends! Are you ready for Smurfette Girl Summer? One of the perks of being a balloon artist in the Los Angeles area is you get the opportunity to work some pretty cool events. I was recently hired to entertain at the premiere of the new Smurfs movie at the iconic Paramount Studios. There were a lot of guests and not a lot of time, so I had to design a Smurf balloon that was simple enough that it wouldn't make my fingers fall off, but was cute enough that I would be proud to hand it to Rihanna. Yes, Rihanna stars as Smurfette in the new film, and no, we did not meet at the event and become best friends yet. You know how it is. A new movie comes out, it's popular, and kids start asking for that design at parties. Again, I went super simple with this design. As long as you can get your hands on a 360 balloon in a Smurfy blue color and can make a pinch twist in that 360, you're gonna be golden, or should I say, blue. But enough introduction. Let's get smurfing. All right, to make our basic Smurf, this is for all of the boy Smurfs in the village, excluding Papa, of course. We'll start with a 260 of any color for the base, a 360 in whatever Smurfy shade of blue you have, and of course a white 260 for the hat. I'll start with the base. Now, as I mentioned before, this premiere had 800 people in attendance, so to move a little faster, I did just a 3-petal base. While normally I might make a 6 or 7-petal base. Use your own artistic discretion and judge based on the amount of time you have for kids waiting in line. Next, I will inflate our white 260, inflated about halfway, and the blue 360. I really don't need that much. In fact, you can probably get multiple Smurfs out of one balloon. Tie your blue 360 to your white 260. Now, we're gonna make a very small bubble in the blue balloon. And when I say very small, so it's actually smaller in diameter than the 3 inches. You see that? And make a pinch twist out of that by grabbing the bubble, pulling it away from the knot, and twisting it around itself. Beautiful. Now I'm going to squeeze the 360 and make a second bubble. I'm terrible at estimating distances. I would say that's like maybe 3 inches. I don't want it to be too wide. And then one more very small bubble that again we'll pinch twist. Ear, face, ear. You get it. Now we'll take the white balloon, squeeze it, stretch. You want to make it pretty soft, and we're going to wrap the balloon around to the back. Now, I don't want these bubbles to be the same length. I want this bubble to be a little bit longer, as though it were wrapping around the curve of this bubble right here. Twist that and wrap that juncture around our pinch twist. Now squeeze, soften the balloon, and we're going to make a long bubble that will make a bit of a triangle with this base here. So just up and down, not too tall, not too short, but just enough so you get a little bit like a triangle that you can see through right there. Roll that around your side pinch twist. Last, we're going to squeeze and stretch that balloon one more time, and then pull another curve over the front of the head. Again, we're not pulling nice and short. We want to kind of curve it to give that brim of the hat. Twist there and roll into that pinch twist. This part of the balloon, we're going to rip that off. We don't need that part. That part's extra. Bye-bye. And we're also going to rip off the white scrap. However, I'm going to make sure I have a bit of a longer scrap on this one. I don't need the full balloon, but maybe like a foot of the balloon remaining. Get rid of that part, leak the air out here. I will tie these two together just to make sure. Probably the pinch twist is strong enough to hold the air, but you don't want to chance it. We'll take this here, this extra bit, and holding the head in place, centered on these 3 petals here. This is like a clover. I'm going to center it right in the middle, pull on your white scrap, and tuck that underneath through the center of that clover and up to that other ear. Wrap it around the ear, and I like to bring it back into the center of the clover. And last step for the balloon, I'll grab this taller loop and kind of pinch it together emphasizing the point at the top and bending it forward a bit. This will make your little Smurf hat. Very Smurfy. Of course, to finish it up, we need to draw on the face. We can also do variations for your Vanity Smurf, your Hefty Smurf, but this is just Generic Smurf. Take your white paint marker, find about the center of your blue face here, and we're going to start by drawing an oval that is angled back toward that one side of the head. I'm right-handed, so I like to start drawing on my non-dominant side. So I'm making the Smurf's right eye, but when I look at it, it's on the left side of the Smurf face canvas. Our second eye, we're gonna start from right about here. Duplicate that oval shape, but only to about the center of the oval. And then we'll do a curve to the bottom to where those two would meet. That's going to give you space for the nose to overlap that second eye. Color in your oval shape. Gorgeous. If you don't have a white paint marker, I highly recommend it as an investment to really up your balloon game. Next, we'll take our black permanent marker. I'll draw the nose, just following the curve I left, but not fully completing the circle. And then we will trace over the top of these ovals. I'm not going to go all the way around, but I'll draw to about that point, and same on the other side. And then a little mouth. I like to draw a tiny mark there as like the, I don't know if it's a dimple or like just the corner of the mouth there, and then a little curve of a smile. Very, very simple. You'll need pupils in the eyes. I will draw my first pupil here. I like to draw my first pupil on the eye that doesn't have a nose over it. If I'm drawing my second pupil, this one will be slightly behind the nose. So basically, we're just going to come up over and do half of the pupil as it peeks from behind the nose. To give it a little extra personality, eyebrows are always great. There we go. Now that's a very fun little Smurf face. So this is what I have here. If you take a look at the full length of the balloon, I like to rip off the bottom part of the balloon. Maybe the bottom part of the balloon wants to rip itself off, and tie this here so that we have a nice manageable handle for your recipient to carry the balloon around with them. Of course, you can make this a wristband or a headband if that's something that you carry in your kit. When I'm working at full speed, I can usually crank these puppies out in about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Your results may vary. Obviously, the more you practice, the faster it'll get. Don't need that part. Rip that off. We'll save this for a Smurfette. Beautiful. So we have Generic Smurf, but I also want to show you a couple other face designs for your other Smurfs, because the only real difference between them will be their facial expressions. So next up, Hefty Smurf. I'm going to come up and do my oval, fill that in, and my second oval, curve for my nose, fill that in. The real difference is going to come with the eyebrows. Hefty Smurf will have focused eyebrows that kind of come down together in the center, almost like angry eyebrows, but we're going to pair it with a smile. Angry eyebrows plus smile equals determined. A little mark down, and then a diagonal line up, like that, and the same thing on the other side. Curving our nose, making sure we've got a smile, outlining the top part of our eyes, and I will position these pupils in a different area of the face. There we go. Hefty Smurf. See how it's just slightly different, but it does give different character. This one I'm not going to be able to get any more out of, so we'll just pop the ends. All right, for Grouchy Smurf, we still have those angry eyebrows, but they're so low that they're actually going to change the shape of our oval eye. So, starting with our paint marker, we're going to start with a diagonal line here. And then from that diagonal line, we will finish the oval that we had done on our previous balloons. Color that oval in, and also a diagonal line up, a curve down, but then not long before we hit our nose curve and fill that part in there. Beautiful. Now we'll take our black marker and our eyebrows are even thicker and more angrier than Hefty's eyebrow. Outline just the edge of those white eyes. Give it that curl. The pupils I'm gonna have actually touching that eyebrow, and of course it's a pouty face for Grouchy Smurf. There you go. Oh, what are you doing? No, don't. Oh my goodness. When you have kittens in the house, sometimes they like to stand on your stream deck.
I love you, but you can't be here right now. I love you.
One more face variant, we're gonna do Vanity Smurf. Oliver, I'm filming right now.
No.
No, you picked up a Smurf. What are you doing? I have my own little Azrael in the studio. Oh, now you're helping Neptune?
No. You're too adorable, but you cannot help me. You have pointy claws, and you're covered in fur.
Down here now, please. Thank you. Vanity Smurf, one of my favorite faces to draw. So expressive, so sassy. We're gonna start at the center of our face bubble and draw just one horizontal line. Right there, gorgeous. Then from that horizontal line, we'll draw the bottom of our backwards leaning oval. So you do kind of still want to slant that oval shape. Color that in. Then from here, we'll draw the curve of our nose and then connect the edge of the horizontal to the nose and fill in. Put the cap on my white marker so I don't cry myself to sleep at night. Then we take our black marker, draw our nose, outline the top horizontal line, and then from about the center of that line, draw the top of our oval shape. And the same thing on the other side there. I'll draw my pupils. These will intersect or touch the base of our lash line and give our little wry smile there. With Vanity Smurf, it's always fun to kind of have asymmetrical eyebrows. So I'll have one that kind of curves down and one that curves up. Oh, yes. I'm Smurfy and I know it.
La 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 la.
Vanity Smurf does have one last detail, that is the yellow and orange flower over the ear. I don't need to tell you how to make this, but it's a 160. You can figure that out, I'm sure. Again, this is a nice detail to add if the person you're making it for absolutely loves Vanity Smurf. What's not to love? I'm looking positively Smurfy. All right, so there, with just a little artistic variation, you can get a lot of different Smurf characters on this very basic Smurf base. Just like a fan. I'm a huge Smurf fan. Look, all of these Smurfs are wonderful and perfect and special, but they're not Rihanna. So let's make Smurfette obviously going to be the most popular request coming out of this movie. Because obviously. We'll start with a 3-petal base. I'm using a light pink for this one. We'll need a yellow 260, a white 260, and a blue 3-inch diameter balloon. I'm using the scraps of a white and a blue that I used on a previous Smurf because that's efficient. So the first thing I like to do for Smurfette, aside from making the base, is inflating the head. So I'll put a little air into my blue 3-inch diameter balloon. I just want the head width. We don't need to put ears on Smurfette because her hair is always in front of her ears. I like to tie knot in both ends of the face. If you're starting at the beginning of the balloon, you can just rip off the extra part, but you do want to have some scrap to tie into the pinch twists on the side of the head. You'll want to put air in your white and yellow 260 balloons and tie them together. First up, we're going to put a pinch twist in the yellow 260. Take one end, doesn't matter which, of your Smurfette face balloon and wrap that around the pinch twist. You're going to want to make sure that the knot is on the opposite side of the pinch twist as the bubble for the face. All right, so we've got the 3 balloons tied together. Next step, we'll take our yellow balloon and curve that around the top of our 360 bubble. We want to make sure that these are not, again, the same length. That'll stretch it too much. We just want to kind of curve around the back, see where that would intersect. Make a twist there, and another pinch twist. Take this knot and wrap that into the pinch twist, again making sure that the knot goes on the opposite side of the pinch twist as the bubble of the face. We'll take our white balloon, nice and soft, and we'll do the hat shape that we did for our boy Smurfs. Twist that, roll that into the pinch twist, squeeze, stretch. This should all be very familiar. Wrap that around the top to be the top part of the hat. Twist that off there and into that pinch twist. At this point, pop the white balloon, or the remainder, making sure I have a nice scrap. Fasten the head to our clover base and pinch my hat together, bend it forward. But we need one more detail on Smurfette, and that's her swooping bang. Take the yellow balloon, squeeze, stretch, make one small bubble, maybe a 1.5 inch bubble, and then a longer bubble. This one will be probably like a 4 or 5 inch bubble. Take the end of that 4 or 5 inch bubble and twist it into the pinch twist on the opposite side of her head. Now I'm going to take about a foot of the balloon, rip this part off, let that leak out. This extra scrap of balloon, pull over to this juncture here between the 4 inch and the 1.5 inch bubble. Roll it over that juncture and then into the pinch twist on the side of her head. That will kind of tuck in the hair. Now at this point, her face is very much hidden by the hair. But what we'll do is kind of reach in with your fingers underneath and pull that bubble forward and push the hair back. There you go. Fantastic. This is our lovely Smurfette balloon. Ripping off the bottom here, because we don't need that part. It's extra. Tie this. Gorgeous. Now we'll add Smurfette's eyes, and it's basically the same face that we give our generic boy Smurf. We're just going to add eyelashes. You can do different facial expressions on Smurfette. Absolutely. Smurfette can be determined. Smurfette can be grumpy. She can be whatever she wants to be. Who run the world? Smurfs. Color in that eye. And our second eye curve. Our nose right there. Color that in. Take our black marker. Outline the nose. Outline the top of the eyes. I do use the edge of my marker to give it a little bit extra thickness compared to the boy Smurfs. And then the eyelashes, I do 1, 2. Now I think technically in all of the artwork, Smurfette has 3 big cartoony eyelashes, but I think 2 works just fine. And if you're moving fast, you don't want it to be too crowded in that juncture. And of course, pupils and a Smurfy smile. Perfect. Or should I say, Smurfect. All right, so there you go. I hope this finds you prepared for all of the Smurf requests that you're going to get after this movie. And remember to catch the Smurfs movie 2025 coming to a theater near you. You can add some eyebrows, which will give it some personality. So, woo! I don't recommend doing that. Hey, guess what I made? Papa Smurf!